Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody.
Hey. Hi.
How's it going?
It's going swell.
Oh, good.
Much better than maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Good. What was 2 weeks ago?
It was a time travel episode,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that 2 weeks from now?
Look, don't start this with me. I'm not doing this.
Oh, I'm doing it again.
I'm not doing this.
It's happening.
No. My name is Carol Ann.
I'm Matt.
And this is Boozed and Confused.
Still boozed, still confused.
Very much so.
Sometimes more than others.
If you are a returning listener, welcome. If you're a new listener, welcome. Highly recommend you listen to some of our older episodes, like the time travel episode that Matt was talking about.
That one's a classic.
Classic of 3 weeks.
Look, when you're this new of a pod, classic is like yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what are you drinking?
I actually have 2 beers in front of me. One is a Yuengling, which I've been working on for a while now, kind of nursing it. The second one, I don't even know what it's called. County Kolsch. It's actually okay.
Who's the brewer?
Hickory Creek Brewing Company. Here's your shout out, fam.
Yeah, I'm also drinking a beer from a smaller known brewery. This is from Goose Island. It's a 312. It's not small. I'm sorry.
I feel like you've got to stop drinking the same beers. Like, I know it's in our fridge, but we got to be like hip and cool. Like those really cool pods, they find the weirdest stuff to drink.
I can't afford to drink a $17 beer. Just one beer, $17. Can't do it.
I think we can. I think we should. Open that thing. Let's get going.
Anyways, here's Wonderwall.
Welcome to my podcast.
So what are we talking about today?
This is kind of like a hodgepodge episode. I think we agreed that we were going to do a number of smaller topics, but it's my goal in life to sabotage everything that you do. So I went from wanting to do like 3 to just doing one big one. You have a bunch though, right?
I picked a lot of topics.
This is cool. It was going to be like one of those like Mojo Top 10, but podcast form. And instead, it's going to be like I do one, and I'm an edgelord, so it's going to be kind of edgy and sad and depressing. And yours sound kind of fun.
Mine are just really dumb. Really dumb. Like if you find yourself lost in the day-to-day of the news cycle and everything, it just seems like shit. I really hope these incredibly stupid but funny conspiracy theories give you some joy.
You said but funny. I'm also not an edgelord. I'm just a little edgy, I think. So we're going to flip a coin, actually. We can't decide who should go first. Should you go first with your funny, silly ones, or should I just like bring the whole mood down with mine? We have this nice JFK $50 coin, 1974. Got this from, I think, the Bristol Renaissance Fair.
That sounds about right.
They
That's
have
a very
so
Bristol Renaissance Fair thing.
I really miss it. But now here, some super edgelord crossed out the We Trust in the In God We Trust. It just says In God, and someone crossed out We Trust. Edgelord move, for sure. So call it in the air. Heads or tails? If you get it right, you pick who goes first.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ready? Here it comes. It's going to be a huge clang. Oh.
Tails.
It's heads.
Mother.
So I guess that means that you go first.
All right. I will go first.
Yes.
Fine. I'll take the ring to Mordor. That's fine. All right. So this first one is one that I did not really know about until I saw something on Reddit. The first conspiracy theory is...
What is it?
Disney's animatronic of Donald Trump. I gotta be honest, I really didn't believe this one as I was reading it until I saw the picture. You read it and it sounds pretty dumb, like someone just made it up. But then you look at the picture and a lot of it makes sense. So the theory is that Disney fully believed that Hillary Clinton was going to win the 2016 election.
Well, I feel like most of the country believe that, right?
That's a topic for another day.
Okay.
Okay, so Disney, like fully confident in this choice, starts to make the animatronic of Hillary Clinton early to put it into their, what is it, like the Hall of Presidents that they have there.
Right.
Okay, spoiler alert. Oh shit, Donald Trump wins the election. So then Disney now has this animatronic that they've started of Hillary Clinton, and it's kind of an oh shit, what do we do with this animatronic moment? Okay, so my perception of what they did is that they just added like a hairpiece to it. They changed a couple facial features and like you wouldn't be able to tell. Okay. Right. In theory, great. But then you look at the picture, and I'll put the picture in the show notes for everybody to reference. But this animatronic looks like they originally made it like a smaller stature, which would make sense. And then Trump won, and they were like, oh shit, we have to add on to this. So it was like they put a Hillary Clinton animatronic in a fat suit and then just dressed it up in like an ill-fitting actual suit and then hardly changed any of the facial features.
How big are the hands? Are the hands accurate?
They're kind of small.
That's accurate then.
They're kind of small. So look at the picture, decide for yourself. I think this one could actually be true.
This one might be a new like phone background for me.
No, it's pretty disturbing.
That's what I'm into.
Yeah.
I'm in. Hold on, I'm gonna look at it really quick. Oh, it's it reminds me of this stupid thing. It's like a picture of Donald Duck, and it's like upside down. You flip it, and it's like a Donald Trump caricature. It reminds me of that. It's really horrible. I hate it.
2 out of 10. I hate this animatronic.
Would go to Disney once though.
Yeah, I'd have to be pretty intoxicated to look at this animatronic and be like, yeah, that's fairly accurate.
That could be arranged.
Post-COVID, we'll see what happens.
That's never going to happen.
Okay, so the second theory that I have is about Stevie Wonder. For those that don't know, Stevie Wonder is one of the most successful songwriters and musicians who has lived in modern times.
Never heard of him.
So he's pretty iconic. He has been blind since shortly after he was born, and he's always been known as a somewhat of a child prodigy since he was about 11. Okay, so the conspiracy is that Stevie Wonder can actually see.
That'd be something so weird to lie about.
Yeah, I don't know like how long, like, I mean, would you start it as a joke and then it just goes too far and then suddenly 60 years later, whoops, here you are.
You're just caught in a lie.
Yeah. It's a big one that you got to keep up. So I've also never heard of this one before. And how the conspiracy started is in 2014, Stevie Wonder is on stage during a performance of Hey Jude. And there's Paul McCartney kind of like running across the stage. And as he's running in front of Stevie Wonder, and he hits this microphone that's in front of Stevie Wonder. The microphone starts to fall, and Stevie Wonder just perfectly catches it.
No.
Okay, so there's video of this. You can look it up on YouTube, and you can just search like Stevie Wonder catches microphone. I feel like this one could maybe be explained, though. I have heard that people who lose one of their senses make it up in other ways. And so I imagine he would have, just based on how close he was to the microphone, he would have had to hear the microphone being hit. He would have felt Paul McCartney running past. And I'm assuming that he had a good idea in his mind of where the microphone was. But
it's like Daredevil in Avatar: Last Airbender, which I binged the absolute life out of. Aang learns how to see with vibrations.
But wait, there's more.
More vibrations?
More vibrations. So to add to this conspiracy theory, in 2016, he's presenting at the Grammys and he's fumbling with this envelope to open it up and reportedly only opens it successfully after he, quote, looks down at it.
Okay, now I think we're just like splitting hairs here.
But wait a second.
No.
In 2017,
Stop.
TMZ has some video, apparently, I did not see it, where Stevie talks about flying and landing a plane. Okay, the absolute weirdest part of this theory comes from Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes, Shaq.
He's my favorite.
That's the one. So in 2019, I think, Shaq is on this panel on Inside the NBA TV show. Okay. And so he says, I'm going to tell y'all a Stevie Wonder story, but y'all are not going to believe me. So then he goes on to say that he and Stevie Wonder used to live in the same apartment complex in LA, and that he bumps into Stevie Wonder one day in the elevator. And he starts to say, I'm already in the building. I'm coming through the lobby. The elevator door opens and it's Stevie Wonder. He comes in, says, what's up, Shaq? Presses the button. And I'm assuming at some point during this, he starts to laugh because he starts to repeat himself. And he says, it's a true story. He presses the button, gets off on his floor by himself, goes to his room. I went and called every person I knew and told the story. They didn't believe me. And so he says he got onto the elevator and was like, what's up, Shaq? How you doing, big dog? Got out and gone. And Shaq swears that this is a true story. And you can watch the video of him telling the story where he's cracking up and you can kind of see the other hosts don't really believe him. Yeah, I don't really know. That one kind of cracks me up a little bit.
I grew up watching the NBA in the 90s, and Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal were like ultimate competitors, like fierce as hell. It's really fun watching them be funny and telling jokes and being friends, actually.
There's something just very wholesome about watching such a big dude like chuckle to himself over like a story that he's telling.
He's also a DJ.
Is he really?
Yeah, and you guys got to watch the Hot Ones episode where Shaq's on. It's
Is that
show.
the chip show?
It's like the hot wings.
Oh yeah.
You remember when I had that?
Yeah.
I tried that
Mm-hmm.
with our friend,
Mm-hmm.
and it was misery.
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so I thought the conspiracy theory about Stevie Wonder not actually being blind was going to be the weirdest thing that I read, and it turns out it's not. It's not even close. The next conspiracy theory is that Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey.
No, stop.
Yes.
Actually, I'm canceling this podcast.
No. Okay, so I am sure everyone listening is familiar with John Benet Ramsey. If you're not, John Benet Ramsey was a like child star, if you will, like child pageant star who was found murdered when she was 12.
Yeah, like what year was that? I remember that was like peak 90s.
Yeah, that would have been mid 90s.
Yeah, that was crazy. And the thing was, they would still talk about that stuff even like up to a few years ago. Like, it always pops up in the tabloids every few years, I feel like.
Oh, because there's always something like new lead found in the case or something like that.
It's over.
I don't think so.
Didn't like her mom die just recently? Because like
I have my own theories on what happened.
Well,
there.
this isn't. Actually,
it's not this one.
I guess this does become a John Benet Ramsey episode. We could have a whole series on that, really. But let's hear about Katy Perry, a.k.a. allegedly John Benet
Yes,
Ramsey.
okay. So here's why Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey, according to this conspiracy theory. So this stems from a guy named Dave Johnson, who I have no idea who the hell he is. I've never heard of him before. And he has this YouTube video in 2014. I couldn't find the video on YouTube because I'm pretty sure it was taken down. But in the video, he claims that John Benet never died. He talks about how her parents and Katy Perry's parents look somewhat similar. And the entire theory is that the death was a hoax. She was kidnapped. And she was kidnapped only to become Katy Perry.
It is your destiny.
I mean, kind of, yeah. So he says that John Bonet's parents set up her fake death and then sacrificed her to the Illuminati to become famous.
This reminds me of that South Park episode where you sacrifice a celebrity to have a good crop. Only it happens to Britney Spears and then I think Miley Cyrus.
Britney Spears is precious and she deserves to be protected.
She does.
So this theory continues. He claims that no one died, no one was hurt, and, quote, that sacrifice was in name only, and that sacrifice was to get something, and that something was to become a star, end quote.
You're going to be a star, baby.
Okay, so there's a lot of holes in this theory. The first one being that there's a 6-ish year age gap between Katy's real age and John Bonet's age and how old she would be right now. There's also photos of Katy Perry when she's younger that don't really look super similar to John Bonet. And most of his evidence is really just comparing photos together. And that's evidence with like loose quotes here. I wouldn't really call it evidence. He goes so far as to say that one piece of loose quotes evidence is their eyebrows are similar.
That those can never change.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly what he said, is that eyebrows really don't change, which if you look at eyebrow trends from, like 1990s, 2000s to 2010 to now, yeah, they definitely change. There's like some eyebrow magic that some people are doing.
Speaking of magic, it looks like she's with Orlando Bloom. Like, they're, like, together.
Who, Katy John Bonet?
Yeah, and Orlando Bloom, a.k.a. Legolas.
Yeah, she just had a baby, and I know who Orlando Bloom is. Thank you very much.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so here's the biggest hole in the story. John Bonet's fucking body was found. Like, John Bonet is undeniably dead. Absolutely undeniably dead. I don't know how you could try to contest that.
It might have been a doll.
No, because
maybe.
they performed an autopsy on John Bonet and they found that she died from traumatic brain injury after she was strangled. Okay, so there's no denying that she's dead.
All right, so I guess the book's closed on this one.
No.
What?
No, because the other piece of evidence that he has, speaking of book, comes from a book that Katy Perry wrote. And within the book, there's this quote where she says, "Not that I was one of those stage kids. There was no John Bonet Ramsey inside of me waiting to burst out."
Oh, weird. That's something that someone trying to say, "I am John Bonet," would definitely say.
Right. And then it gets weirder with like the similarities that he has. Similarities and loose quotes. This whole fucking conspiracy is in loose quotes. Okay, so
like the whoosh, whoosh.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so the other evidence that he has is that there's a full moon the year that John Bonet died. Is that right? The year? Because there's a full moon a lot of years.
I mean, maybe there's one full moon. Hold on, I'm gonna crack this beer. I'm cracking this beer. This is tastes like independent brewing.
Yeah, okay, so I just double checked. The article said that there was a full moon the year that she died, but
no, really,
based on the moon cycles, I would imagine there were a few that year. Okay, and then the other piece of evidence is that he starts to highlight similarities between the kitchen floor in John Bonet's house and the motifs in Katy's music videos. All right, so one brave journalist asked Katy about this just once at the 2017 VMAs. And he says, "Blink twice if you're actually John Bonet Ramsey."
And does she blink twice?
So she laughs and she says, wait, no, that is not real.
Oh my goodness. And then she blinked twice.
And then she blinked twice because she's John Bonet.
Because human beings blink.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't believe this one. You had me for a second, and now I'm totally off this one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that is Katy Perry, allegedly as John Benet Ramsey. And this last one is the singer Lorde, who's from
South Park, Colorado.
No.
She's a 45-year-old middle-aged man
No.
named Randy Marsh.
No.
Yeah. I am Lorde.
No. So she's from New Zealand, I think. All right. So Lorde is this famous singer. She is probably most known for her song Royals that topped the charts. Oh, Jesus. What was that? Like 8 years ago?
What? You're joking.
No.
8 years? No, like 3.
I'm going to look it up right now on Lifetime.
It's like 2017, 2018.
No.
Yeah.
No. At least 2014. What? So 6 years ago, at least.
Oh, what is time?
It was actually released in 2013. So.
I take back everything I said.
All right. So Lorde is a famous singer, allegedly born in 1996, which would make her about 24 right now.
The math adds up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not very good at math, but I think that's about right.
Yeah, me neither.
So some journalist, loose quotes here.
Oh, boy. Whoosh, whoosh.
Does some research and comes up with this theory that Lorde is actually over 40 and that Lorde is like a 44-year-old woman and not this 24-year-old that she's claiming to be.
So you're not saying she's like a 45-year-old man named Randy Marsh?
No, I that's for another episode.
Okay.
It's possible.
I want to believe.
It's possible. Okay, so this begins with another journalist, loose quotes,
Whoosh, whoosh.
looking to access Lorde's birth certificate, right? And so I guess in New Zealand, what you can do is you can pay like under $20 and get copies of public records or something, right? Okay, so she tries to get the birth certificate that she paid $17 for, and instead of the birth certificate, she gets this strange birth registration thing that was just like typed onto a page, basically. So it says
Lorde.
Yep, exactly. So it says like Lorde was born in 1996, and it's Lorde has this very long name. We're just gonna call her Lorde.
Yeah.
So the two journalists are talking, and they both come to the conclusion that this birth registration that was like manually typed out is not very legit. It's not proof that they're looking for. Okay, so here's the crazy part. Very scientific method.
Okay.
This journalist puts photos of Lorde through some like age guessing website.
Oh.
She goes through and she has all these examples of people that she puts in, and this website guesses everyone younger than they actually are. So for example, Ted Cruz is about 93, and
because he's a Zodiac killer.
And the website guesses that he's about 38.
Okay.
So for Lorde's, she puts in a few different pictures. It guesses that she's 30. In this photo, she's about 20 or 21. The next one after that is 36, and the next one after that is 49 that this website guesses. Okay. And that's it. That's the proof.
The proof's in the pudding.
Very scientific. I'm more inclined to believe that she may not actually be this like super young, singer. I partially think that because if you get to know Lorde a little bit and like her personality, she seems like a little bit of an old soul. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's older than 24.
Oh, you're an old soul.
I don't think she's 44 though.
I don't think so either. I don't even think. Look, I think she's a 45-year-old man named Randy Marsh.
All right, so just to recap the conspiracies here.
These are wild.
Disney's animatronic of Donald Trump that was actually Hillary Clinton, that they said, oh shit, and tried to fit to be Donald Trump after he won the election. Stevie Wonder is not actually blind. Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey. And Lorde is a 44-year-old woman.
Oh.
That's all I've got. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks.
Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
Oh, gosh.
All right, I'm just going to bring the whole mood down. If you guys want to stop listening, you guys can go ahead and do that. But just give me a try here. It's impossible for me to just pick and choose like 3 or 4. I kind of go all in on one. It's like all or nothing for me. This is probably one of my favorite, possibly real topics. This is one of those things that we can't really prove until we know more. And it's space related. When I was a little kid, I had this huge love of space. This is really as far as I got. I really like space as an idea, but like when it gets into like the math and the distances, it's all kind of like gravy. It's lost on me. I don't know what gravy has to do with it, but it does.
It's kind of like everyone dreams of being an astronaut, and then you get older and you realize you have to actually know things to be an astronaut.
Oh, also, thankfully, I'm too tall to be an astronaut.
I think I'm probably like the perfect height.
You're the ideal height.
Yeah. I mean, I really have 2 career paths in life that are 3 or 4, maybe actually. I could probably be an astronaut based on my height. I could be a jockey. If they ever did a Wizard of Oz remake, I could be one of the actors in the Lollipop Guild. And Matt was shooting me a look saying, no, I can't say that. But actually, just found that they were doing some kind of Oz prequel that they were filming. And some casting company was putting the word out about trying to get, like extras for this. And they were looking for people who were 4 feet, 10 inches and shorter. For the record, I'm just 1 inch taller. So actually, I could have been a great fit. My other idea for where I could be in life was a Hobbit, but it turns out I'm almost a foot too tall for that. So,
and your feet aren't hairy enough.
They're not hairy enough.
I'm getting there, but I'm like way too tall.
All right, so back to you.
What the heck was I talking about? Space. That's right, space. Yeah, I like space. I think it's a really cool place. I can like recite facts about space, but I actually have no concept of what those facts mean. I managed to read that book by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's like Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Mm-hmm. It's just a cool book, really cool book, quick and dirty. By read, I mean I listened to it on Audible, but they tell you to say that you read it that way, even though it's listening. I drive a lot, so it works. We as like a species have like gone from our small beginnings as like little frail mammals to conquering the whole earth. And I'm really not a Star Trek guy. I'm really like all Star Wars, but I grew up watching Star Trek, and I remember
nerd.
You literally have a whole wall of Star Wars stuff.
Live young and prosper.
That's a different like Star Trek story. I was more of a Picard guy. Mm. But again, like,
don't make fun of my Star Wars wall. Don't.
I put it up.
Don't air my laundry like that.
I nailed that wall up. So like in the intro to the Next Generation episodes, he says space, the final frontier. And it's like, it's pretty cool. Picard's awesome. I don't like Star Trek like I like Star Wars, but Picard, you got to respect Patrick Stewart. He's up there with like Ian McKellen.
We should probably do an episode about how Patrick Stewart hasn't aged in the last like 45 years. He's
a treasure.
Yeah.
He's an awesome Macbeth. When I teach Macbeth, I always show the version where he's Macbeth. So I'm on 100% Team Star Wars, but I respect Picard. Anyways, space, great filter. One of my favorite shows is Ancient Aliens. And I'm actually super stoked that there's more than one season on Netflix now, because I can stop watching the first season on repeat whenever I'm sleepy. Because that's my go-to like sleepy time Netflix show. It's like people watch The Office because it feels safe for them. I watch Ancient Aliens season 1.
It just feels right.
Look, I just love it. All right. How did we get the pyramids? Aliens.
How? I mean, really? Really, how did all of these civilizations live so far apart without modern technology acting as a communication source for them, and they all managed to build the same kind of pyramid.
Well, I mean, it's like a similar shape. I mean, a pyramid's kind of like
Look, here, I'm trying to make your case for you. This
Well,
ain't my episode.
I'm kind of going the other direction though. Like I almost don't want to believe in ancient aliens, and that's gonna make sense. I don't want there to be ancient aliens. It takes away from the fact that we can do a lot of really cool stuff with our brains, but also what's at stake with this filter that I'm gonna kind of dive into. It's really, it's either really good or it's like really bad. It's probably really bad.
Okay, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm in.
You know, like pyramids, aliens, jetpacks, aliens, anything, advanced technology, anything at all. It's aliens. Pretty much anything remotely cool. It's like that meme with the guy with the hands in the hair, like the famous guy on Ancient Aliens. We're just some like jacked up species of primates that happens to be using more than just rocks and sticks. Is kind of what they are getting at. Is like, if there was no alien intervention, we'd be hitting stuff with rocks still. Which, I mean, we still kind of do, but we just have like Wi-Fi and 5G now. Not even 4G anymore. It's 5G. I mean, think about it. How cool is it that humans were able to figure out how to get Stonehenge up without any obvious advanced mechanisms? And I'm pretty sure that the stones that make up Stonehenge came from quite far away to where they stand now. Also, I had no idea it was in Wales.
Yeah, I learned that when I was trying to plan a trip this year, or for this year, but last year.
Why didn't we go?
Joke's on us.
Why didn't we go? No reason. Just busy. So, Stonehenge, super impressive in that regards. You know what's even crazier? Like going into space, slightly.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's even crazier? Like, do you have any idea how much the Saturn V weighed? The Saturn V was I believe, the rocket that got us to the moon with people on it. Mm-hmm. So, like, when it was full of fuel, this thing was 5,100,000 pounds. And we got that thing out of the atmosphere. We got that thing way the heck up into space.
That's about what I weigh after hitting up the Thanksgiving buffet for the second time. So, yeah, I can kind of relate.
That's fair. Like, the weight by itself is staggering because anything over, like, 500 pounds, I'm not moving that pretty much. I might hurt my back. I could maybe, like, budget. But the fact that we were able to do this crazy math and land on a moving object from another moving object, and we're spinning, and there's all these other complexities that I don't comprehend, and I still feel like I need to see that film, Hidden Figures.
Oh my god, that's such a good movie.
Didn't you watch it on the airplane to or from Ireland?
Probably. It's such a good movie. Highly recommend if anybody is at all interested in that topic. 10 out of 10. And I think it's actually a book that was adapted into a movie.
Yeah.
I've heard the book is really good. Haven't read it yet, but movie is fantastic.
Well, if you listen to an Audible, that's kind of like reading with an asterisk.
This is not an Audible sponsored pod, I promise.
But it could be.
Jeff
Bezos, what up?
Your ad here.
So anyways, math is above my head, and I'm cool with that. But I have like a serious question for you. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes, but I think because the thought of us being the only beings alive in the universe is scarier than the thought of us not being the only beings alive.
Okay, I'm going to take that. I like that. It's a good answer. I know we always claim that we see UFOs down at the farm, like at nighttime. They're just airplanes and satellites and stuff, but it's funny. Oh, there's a UFO. I'm always looking. Like I want to believe. But like, do you ever wonder what it would be like if NASA actually announced that there were aliens, or like the government or something?
All right, so maybe we should have my dad as a guest.
Like a resident expert.
Because he actually has a couple of UFO stories, but he and I have talked in depth about the high likelihood that the government is aware of extraterrestrial life, but reasons why they would not release that.
I want to say just a couple days ago, I saw an article about the FBI or CIA, one of those secret 3-letter abbreviation corporations from the U.S. releasing evidence of aliens. But I'm not trying to get into that. I'm trying to get into like Independence Day scenario, like Will Smith up against the alien forces scenario. Or you could even go like Tom Cruise, War of the Worlds. It feels like in the stories where there are aliens, the Earthlings are like the little minnows against like the giant like sharks of the galaxy, and we're massively outgunned. They're super advanced, super aggressive alien race, and their tech is like massively outpowering us. Like our cannons and stuff can't do anything to them. And I think, have you ever seen War of the Worlds?
Yes.
With Tom Cruise? I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise, but I actually enjoy the story. I'm pretty sure like microbes in the water is what kills them in the end. Spoilers, by the way, that's the wrong side of the spoiler, but it's been easily 10 years since it came out, and there's
okay,
no
but
exception.
Also War of the Worlds is
H.G. Wells. Yes, it's a radio story.
Very old.
Yes, absolutely. H.G. Wells is an artist, and that entire like surprise radio story, a masterpiece. I think what really ironed this thing, I mean, this story comes from like the 1800s. It's like 1898-ish, or precisely. But what really made it, I think, famous in my heart is when Orson Welles had that like radio show where it sounded like news flashes of aliens attacking, and that's where it's cool. But the Tom Cruise one's okay too, and in both stories, the humans are impossibly outgunned. We had Will Smith, thankfully, so that's cool. I feel more likely life on other planets. The discovery would be more like microbial life on like Mars or on those moons of Jupiter or Saturn, like Europa. I think that's a Jupiter moon, and Titan. Those are ones that are always talked about as having like the possibility. It's always about like water and stuff. This would probably be like the biggest, most exciting piece of news in the existence of humanity. I think finding life somewhere off of our planet. Like, can you think of anything more exciting than that?
No, I don't think it would be exciting. I think it would be terrifying.
Well, yeah. Like life somewhere else. So I guess if they do find microbial life, that's one thing. But the properly terrifying thing would be if there was a hyper advanced species civilization that came from across the galaxy, across the universe. That would be truly horrifying for a number of reasons. Looking into like our sci-fi stories, like what we just talked about, how long did it take for Earth to develop life, and how long did it take for that life to become us?
At least a couple years.
Like 7 years. Like, I guess there were dinosaurs for a while, and then boom, they were gone, and now there's us.
Because they made the dinosaurs meteor.
I was just going to get to that. This giant meteor hits, and it blocks out the sun, and all the cold-blooded massive creatures that dominated, I think is a better word, the planet are all gone, and the wee little mammals come out and were able to survive the harsh winters that followed, and boom, here we are talking into microphones. That's like a way less eloquent way of talking about like the progression. Like, do you remember that scene in Space Odyssey when the ape like throws the bone into the sky and it becomes a satellite? That's like the biggest cut in all of cinematic history, but that's kind of where we're at now. We're like modern day. So as far as we know, there is no intelligent life out there. You could even question if we're intelligent. Like, we are, but
yeah, I don't know.
lowest common denominator.
I feel like I'm seeing a lot of stupid shit coming out of COVID, and I kind of wondering, like, is this the best that like existence has to offer? You know,
Is this your downtown? Like, at least we haven't seen anything that we would determine to be intelligent life. Our ability to find intelligent life couldn't go one of two ways, and that would mean a few different things. We've gone from being on Earth like a frail creature, having to fend for ourselves and dodge like woolly mammoths and tigers and shit, and now we can like go to a zoo, get our faces painted like tigers, and like laugh at the tigers. Joe Exotic can own, how many tigers did he have? Like dozens?
at least a couple.
At least 7. So we can literally go and observe these apex predators. We are clearly like the top of the food chain. We dominate this planet. What's our population at now?
Ooh, I think we're over the 7 billion mark.
Yo, so 2011 we hit 7 billion. It's 2020 and we are just a little bit under 8 billion. If you actually look at the progression of population in the last like 300 years, it's insane. So pretty much it's getting crowded here, right? Last time I checked, it's getting pretty bad. Natural progression sees us go from being the dominant species on the planet to needing to expand and grow, right? Scientists keeps talking about the climate, water sources, food sources, having to be more intelligent with how we use the Earth's resources. We have to leave eventually. We're getting to a point where there's no turning back. If we hope to survive our own destruction, we need to go find new places that we can ruin in the future, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really nice way to put it.
You know, I'm doing my best. Okay, so we are at a point right now where Mars is becoming a viable place to have a manned mission. Wasn't there a sign up for like one-way trips?
Yeah, I did not sign up for it.
Me neither. I thought about it, but I was like, there's just no way. It's like the second you leave Earth, you're dead. It's over.
Yeah, there's really truly no coming back, I would imagine.
Yet. But hey, fast forward, boom, we're on Mars. We've colonized Mars and we live on both Earth and Mars. Maybe throw some space colonies in between Earth and Mars, like an Earth-Mars zone. Maybe there could be some cool war between the colonies and the planets. It's going to get real bad. Fast forward again. We need to spread out even further. By some miracle, like humanity has survived long enough to the point that the sun is at its end and it's going to take the whole thing with it. It's going to blow up, take everything with it. We got to go. We got to look to other star systems. We've become a galaxy-wide civilization, carrying on as we do in all parts of like the Milky Way. This is like super, super advanced civilization stuff here, meaning like we're able to travel at light speed or manipulate space-time with wormholes and shit. Like hopping on the highway, but it's across the galaxy. So where does the filter come in? Where does the filter come in? Where is this important? The filter. The progression of a species, like no matter where it comes from, it seems like it can only go one way. It's like a universal progression of life on a planet. If we dominate a planet, why would we stop there? Have we ever stopped dominating stuff? Like we keep moving and taking more, right? We'll keep going. There are potentially 500 billion planets in the Milky Way. Of those 500 billion, somehow scientists say there's like 10 billion Earth-like planets, with lots of those already being around for billions of years longer than us on Earth. So let's toss the dice and let's say you have to roll 3 natural 20s to even get microbial life, okay?
I rolled 3 nat ones. What can I get with that?
You get nothing. It's got to be 3 natural 20s, but you're throwing it 500 billion times.
Oh, boy.
Well, let's say 10 billion times. How about that? Less throwing. The odds are staggeringly positive that something will pop up. So we know where we are in our advancements, right? We're throwing satellites, we're throwing stuff out there into space, but why haven't we seen anything yet?
I'd like to phone a friend.
Where's the Galactic Empire? Where's I don't know, like a republic? I don't know. Look, the Empire did nothing wrong.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Look, space is dead. Space is empty. So what's stopping all the potential life from becoming a galactic presence? What's stopping us? It's the Great Filter. Something so massively impassable that nothing will ever get past it. So back to us. Either we're crazy lucky and have somehow passed it, or we're not past it and we're doomed. So there's two quick and dirty scenarios. And in one, I think we're in better shape than the other. So, scenario one, we got past the filter without even knowing that it was there. And that means that we are the most advanced, which kind of sucks also because I kind of want to see the alien overlords.
Well, but also like, wow, this is it. I was really hoping it would be better for some other beings.
Hey, this is it. So what step did we get past that others couldn't get past? Like, is life that hard to get started? Like, it's possible that billions of planets in the Milky Way are full of bacteria, but they don't jam together like ours did, like way back in the day. You can't get complex life forms without a little bit of complexity. What about our brains? The fact that our little meat sponges like took 200,000 years to get from like smashing rocks together to like throwing rockets in space. Like, we have like rocket ships and Fortnite and stuff and 5G. Our brains need that dense skull and protection. It's like one bad poke and it's game over. But we made it this far, and here we are now. It would suck to have our brains exposed. Like, a tree branch falls on your brain, you're dead. So maybe we had just the right building blocks to get there, and we're past the filter already. Theory 2, we're behind the filter. We're behind the filter, and countless civilizations have risen and fallen before us, and we're just screaming into the void. Like, think about the dinosaurs. What's to say that if a natural disaster didn't wipe everything out, there wouldn't be a race of like reptilians running around?
Oh, I mean,
there's
is.
Totally reptilians, actually.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I mean, I was going to pick that for my conspiracy topic, but I thought the Katy Perry as John Benet Ramsey was much more compelling.
It is, I guess. Say Earth does have a natural disaster with us. Even if it wipes out a huge portion of our population, we could theoretically move on.
I mean, like, the whole fucking U.S. is on fire right now out west. There's a massive amount, like I don't want to say unprecedented because it's happened before, but we're only in the middle of September and we're already almost out of English names for hurricanes and tropical systems in the south, which means that we have to go to the Greek alphabet.
Dope.
That's not fucking dope. Like, things are clearly not really going well.
No, things
here.
aren't great. Things aren't great. But theoretically, we would move on, right?
And this is the best that we had.
We would survive. We would move on. No, this is if we aren't even at the filter yet. We could survive. We'd maybe slow things down a little bit, but we can get back maybe. Maybe it's something we discover and create ourselves that stops us. What advancements in nuclear weapons takes us out? What about a super intelligent AI? Like, maybe they take us out on accident, or maybe they intentionally do. Maybe it's like Terminator. What about engineering super bugs that are undefeatable? You know, like, you can't kill them. They're just going to take over. I guess we're not there, so we don't know until we get there. So, like, what's the hope? What's the hope? Do we want to find life? Is this one of those it's better to be ignorant kind of things? Like, here's the potential. The more common and advanced life is, the more likely the filter is down the road from us waiting. So, common, we find life here, we find life there. It's everywhere. That's not good. Like, if we find ruins of an ancient alien civilization, that's pretty much the worst case scenario because they've been stopped and we're not there yet. And there's some giant bug zapper ahead of us that's going to stop us on our tracks. Best case scenario, everywhere we go, looking for life, empty. Nothing. Not even like microbial life. Then the galaxy may one day be our stomping ground. We'll go from here to there, everywhere we want, making the Milky Way like our stomping grounds. Hell, if we can live in Alaska or Canada or like the polar vortex in Chicago, like we can survive pretty much anywhere, right?
Yeah, theoretically. I think I'd like to go back to talking about Stevie Wonder not actually being blind now, if you don't mind.
Let's talk about like Britney Spears or something. Katy Perry.
That is such a fascinating and yet depressing as hell topic.
It just kind of happens. What does Jeff Goldblum say? Life finds a way, right?
Yeah.
Like, regardless if it goes one way or the other, I think anyone right now, we're fine. We're chilling. We're going to be just fine. I do wish I could have like an X-Wing, or like a Y-Wing, join the rebellion or something. Or even like, I don't think I want to be on like BSG.
Yeah, I've been thinking about BSG, Battlestar Galactica, pretty much the second half of this episode because
Cylons.
I don't want to spoil this for anybody. So if you're watching the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, or you are going to watch it, maybe fast forward about 15 seconds. But pretty much the TLDR is they get to a place where they are at war with these Cylons that they created, and the Cylons become too powerful, try to overtake humanity, and humans have to find a new place to live free of Cylons. And I've been instructed that I can't say anything more than that about the show because it's not right to spoil it for other people, despite the spoiler tag.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally within the realm of spoiling, but I think this is like one of the best pieces of writing I've ever watched. I mean, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, but BSG just kind of takes the cake with quality and story arcs, and it ends when it needs to end. It doesn't end because the networks are like, no, we need more money. And aren't they talking about remaking BSG?
Yeah, I think they're in the process of some sort of reboot.
Confused feelings about that. Speaking of confused, I'm a little boozed. Wow, what an ending.
I think that's it for this week.
Wow. It came full circle.
That was a great transition.
If you made it this far, I'm really sorry.
Maybe we should have ended on the lighter note. And now we're all just going to have a good old existential crisis cry in the shower.
If you gaze into the void will gaze back into you.
Oh, boy. All right. So I think that's where we cut it for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
And hopefully we don't reach the filter next week or anytime soon, because
I think we're good. I think we're in the clear for at least 7 days.
Okay, great. So we've got enough time to like get the ring in there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So thanks so much for joining us this week. If you liked today's episode, if you like our podcast and you want to support us, the best thing that you could do is follow us on your platform of choice and leave us a review if possible. We would be so grateful. If you do leave us a review, please feel free to take a screenshot and send it to us, and we will send you your very own Boozed and Confused sticker for free.
Please, we have so many.
Thanks for joining us this week, and we hope to see you next week. We release new episodes every Monday. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.